Let's talk tourism.
Katia Enriquez Oreamuno is the commercial manager of Adobe Rent-A-Car, one of the most innovative and reliable transport companies in Costa Rica tourism. Katia, let's talk tourism.
Hi, I'm sorry.
It's your
It's
cat.
my cat. And I thought that she was gonna do it, and I said no, but she did it. Sorry. So
No
we have to
worries.
start.
No, let's jump into it. It's a great segue. Katia, first question.
Okay.
How did you get into tourism?
Okay, that's a fine question. Usually, well, I'm a nutritionist originally, and I worked as a nutritionist for some years. Then I went to the pharmaceutical area, like all the health care area. But I got to a point where I had to travel a lot, and I was really tired, and I really wanted to have some family life. So I decided to join my husband Alejandro, that's the owner of Adobe Rent-A-Car, to help him out with the company. So basically, that's the way I started in tourism. It was very interesting because it was a total change of area. I had no idea, I had no clue about tourism. And since then, it's 13 years and I'm still learning. I think that it's a very interesting area. And it's very diverse. So I like it very much. And I want to stay here for the rest of my time.
What surprised you getting into the industry? What did you perhaps not know about tourism or even Costa Rica?
Well, maybe how all the segments that there are interacting among each other. I mean, there's the travel agencies, the direct people deciding for their own, their own private trip. Then there are tour guides, transportation, rent a car. It's so many different areas interacting in between and making this one perfect, to say it in one word, one perfect, interesting, attractive product for tourists. So it's very interesting. That's what I like more. And it was very interesting for me to see how all these people interact in one.
Yeah, I had an industry colleague tell me once while attending a tourism event in the U.S., you just don't realize until you dip your toe in tourism. It is an ocean. It is so vast and so diverse. Because
it's so diverse.
You guys are an interesting side of the tourism game, particularly in Costa Rica, where highway and road infrastructure is still a little bit behind developed countries. I'm sure that presents some unique challenges for a transport company. What are the biggest challenges of operating a transport-oriented company in Costa Rica or a developing country?
Well, transportation and the roads has been one of the main issues or one of the main complications, to sell the idea of going to rent a car. But that has improved in time. And with a GPS, and because there was no signs, so it was really complicated for the tourists. So if you see it 15, 20 years back, people really, I don't know how they could do, because there were no signs. I suppose that they had to interact a lot with Costa Ricans, and that's part of our uniqueness as a product. But that has changed with the GPS. People can decide where they go. They feel more comfortable because they understand where they are. They know where they want to go, how to get there. So that helped a lot for the whole industry. And the other thing is that safety. I mean, safety is something that we really need as a company and as a tourist area. We really need the country to be safe so people can feel comfortable traveling all around the country. And I think that that's something that we've been delivering for the last years. Of course, there are cases here and there, but it's not as bad as in maybe other countries. So people really feel confident in getting a car and doing, their trip at their own pace, going, to see what they want. So those are areas that I believe that interact very much in the rent-a-car industry. But at the end of the day, what we do see is that every day more and more people feel independent. And I believe that the GPS and all these facilities and the safety have made an important role making that happen. So we do feel that a lot more people are renting cars that 20 years ago in the percentage. So, and I think it's going to keep on growing because people like to be independent, not be in a group. And especially in these times of COVID, it becomes more important right now than ever because people really want to be in their bubble and not mix with other people.
We've had some pretty hilarious incidents with travelers who've rented cars and maybe parked them on the beach, and the next day the car's underwater. I'm sure you've seen some pretty incredible stuff. What are the common difficulties or challenges that tourists get into when renting a car that maybe they just don't quite understand that Costa Rica is different, or we have maybe they try to cross a river, that kind of stuff. What are just the general misconceptions and challenges that you guys see on a regular basis?
It's interesting because when they come to Costa Rica, they want adventure. Many of them want adventure, and they really relate to that, and they want this really nice Indiana Jones type of experience. So what they feel is that they can do a lot of things that maybe they wouldn't do back in their home place. So many people think that they can do, as you mentioned, cross a river, go to the beach, and do all these kind of things. So it's sometimes difficult to try to tell them, well, I mean, you can do a lot of adventure, but there is a limit, and you cannot use the car for certain things. So what we do is we've been trying to make sure that our employees tell that to our customers in a nice way. I mean, you never have to say no. You don't have to say no. You can say, we recommend this, this, and that. If this, and that happens, this is gonna happen. So we can take them with a nice way, a positive way. And we always believe that the way to interact with our customers is in a positive way, not a negative one. So we just try to orient them and tell them what should be done. It also happens with drunk people. Our tourists, we almost don't have any incidents, but in Costa Ricans, we do have some incidents where they believe that they can drive and drink. And those are the things that we have to tell them that there shouldn't be done, but in a positive way. But yeah, we have seen a lot of incidents. And of course, at the end of the day, if they pass the line, because there is a line in which they shouldn't be inside and driving through a river if it's too dangerous and all that. If they pass a line, well, they're going to have to be liable and responsible for that. And that's not the point where we want to be. We want to really have them enjoy a nice experience. So it's a balance where we have to try. And it's all type of customers. It's customers from Europe, from US, from all the world, that some of them really want to have a really very nice experience, and that when they really don't understand that there are challenges, that they really shouldn't go forward and cross that river or leave it in the ocean.
This pandemic situation seems to have been particularly hard for transport companies with a limited number of clients in country. But I've always thought of Adobe as one of the more adaptive transportation companies in the country. What kind of changes are you guys making, or how might you have to restructure your business in order to adapt to whatever this new normal might be?
Okay, yeah, there's different areas, and it's interesting because I was once speaking with a colleague, and she told me, but I have nothing to do. And I said, well, right now we're as busy as ever because we have to change a lot of things, make new products. We have to innovate. We have to do really adapt to the new reality. So some people just take it, in a negative way, and oh my God, what am I going to do? In our case, in Adobe, we've always tried to make things turn positive, and to say, okay, well, this is an opportunity to start doing new things. So basically, it's interesting because we have a business that's a long-term rental for different types of cars, and a lot of those clients return the cars to us because they had no business also. So we have a lot of microbuses, like Hayase and all these kind of vans. And so what we're doing is we're transforming that and making it to a transfer product. So right now, Adobe is launching the transfer product. We're offering private transfers to our customers. And since we have already a lot of relationship for many years with many travel agencies, that helps us to offer a new product. And in this case, this transfer is very interesting because we have many units and different sizes, and that helps us to give a new product, a fresh product with very good units. And that's something that we had to do. We've been thinking about it for many years, but now we really have to do it because at the end of the day, we had all these cars there. So that's one of the innovative products. Also, we've innovated it when we're trying to finalize it for this year, loyalty program. Those are things that you have never time when you're in the day-to-day and you're so busy. So right now we're deciding, okay, let's finish these projects and let's go ahead and let's do new things. So we've been really busy. We've been trying to transform the business. In our case, since we did have some national business with locals, that helped us to not close the company and keep with a very low level, but to keep on. And we also are trying to give new products to the clients because at the end of the day, we understand that COVID changed many things. So of course, all the protocols and that's a mandatory thing. But to give new products, to give the car at a faster pace, give information previously, give a lot of new products that can help the clients feel better. And at the end of the day, renting a car is something that people want it to be really fast, get the car and get the keys and go. So that's what we're trying to help out people to do. So we've been trying to innovate with a lot of things. But the most important one is the transfer product. We also launched, because we've been, as I mentioned, very busy, an affiliate program. So right now we're trying to get more affiliates with the program that we also have it with our system. So it's very interesting. When things go difficult, you have to be definitely.
Interesting. I'm sure you've seen some discussions about long-term visas for Costa Rica, the remote worker visa. Have you explored anything regarding long-term leasing of vehicles? Are you getting
Yeah,
inquiries
absolutely.
for that?
Yes, it's very interesting because we had the discussion internally in the company that that we thought and we believed and we were feeling that probably there were going to be more long-term rentals, and it has exactly happened that way. Right now, we're receiving a lot of long-term rental requests. We've been trying to get into the long-term rental business for maybe 10, 13 years. We've been trying to also work in that area and to interact with the owners of villas and condos and properties that are here in Costa Rica, and also the companies that help them out, property management companies. So we've always had, 3-month requests, the usual. But right now we do have a feeling that it's going to increase. And we have the contacts, we have the baseline, all the bases for us to have that working on very well. And what we did is we established a very interesting price, because at the end of the day, if it's going to be a long-term rental, people are more price sensitive, and it has to make sense for them. So it's an interesting price. It's an interesting product that we're offering to them, and we do have the context. So we're receiving a lot of that, and it's true that people are really considering, all this, the long-term visa and staying here in Costa Rica, for work.
And are you seeing any other traveler trends changing? I mean, in our agency, there are a handful of things we thought we knew for the first 20 years that are now, a lot of that's getting thrown out the window. Yeah. Are there any statistics or trends or requests that are surprising to you?
Well, right now, what we're seeing as a trend is that nobody's deciding. At the beginning, no one was requesting anything or asking anything.
Yeah.
Now people are requesting, they're asking, they're not deciding yet. And what we feel is that everything's going to be a last minute business. It's going to be very last minute, and not only for us, for our direct customers, but also through the travel agencies. The travel agencies right now have no business almost, but it's clear that they have told us that they are making a lot of they have a lot of requests and people, trying to quote, but they don't finally decide. And I think that that's something that we all learned with the COVID-19, is that things change. And maybe the government decides one thing and the next day decides another. So
Right.
people really don't want to make long-term or decisions 2 or 3 months before, because they know they're not certain that they can really go through with their trip. So what we believe is a very strong trend is that they're going to decide for last minute, and that's something that's true. Regarding the type of cars, since we don't have that many requests, we're not feeling any changes yet. But we do believe that probably people are the type of clients that are going to come at the beginning to Costa Rica are going to be a little bit more price sensitive, and probably it's going to be more the cheaper cars rather than the large cars, because the large cars is more for families. So, in a COVID world, traveling with families becomes a little bit difficult,
Sure.
And so what we believe is going to be more the traveler alone, or a couple traveling, so, and deciding at last minute. So it has changed a lot of the ways that we see things. So what we have to do right now is keep our eyes open, our ears open, and not take for granted everything that, as you mentioned, we learned 20 years back.
On the topic of government and tourism institutions, et cetera, what do you think Costa Rica needs to do as a destination, as a country, as a tourism industry to remain a leader for the next few decades?
That's an interesting question, because we had that discussion, as a matter of fact, yesterday. Um, and this is only our opinion. I mean, there's no correct answer, but we do believe, we do believe that the role that travel agencies have in Costa Rica are vital. Travel agencies are really important in this country, because we as a rent-a-car depend on them, but also the guide, the tour guide, the destinations, the restaurants. What's good about travel agencies is that they make a very attractive, solid, very rich product for the clients, for tourists. So what they give is variety. They move all around the country, so that makes it a very interesting trip. That's why many of the people and the tourists that come to Costa Rica, they fall in love with the country, because they go to Fortuna, they go to Monteverde, they go to the beach, they go to Caribbean, they go to different places. So they really get a taste of all the country, and they can really enjoy the country and the ticos. Because if you just stay in a hotel, 7 days in a hotel, just having a tan, you won't enjoy it. You can do that in any country in the world.
True.
But what makes it different is that, people go all around the country. And I think that that's something that has to stay, because that's what made the product unique. That's what made the product very good. One example is Panama. Panama did it the opposite. Panama, all their tourism was developed more by the hotel people. So of course, if I'm the hotel, I want a person to stay much more time in my hotel. And I don't care if they go to different places, if they move around, I don't care. I just want to stay as much as I can in my hotel. So the tourists that go to the tourism that goes to Panama is a little bit different. And the satisfaction level is really low compared to Costa Rica. And I believe that the difference is the travel agencies. So right now, what we should rescue and try to make sure that, that things continue the way they were, is with the travel agencies and the product that they offer, all the product already made in one, that helps a lot to the people to feel really comfortable. So I think that that's something that, it's very important to continue a long time. So that's something that I wouldn't change, because I do think that that's something that's a strength that we have in this country. And if we change it to the normal, couple that stays in a hotel for a whole week, I think that product's, it's going to make us, go back in time.
Yeah, we always like to beat up Cancun for whatever reason. We don't want to beat Cancun.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we want.
Last question. Great answer, by the way. What's Pura Vida? This is the grand mystery. You know, I've been here 20 years and I'm still trying to figure it out. What is Pura Vida to you?
Well, for me, it's the way we see things. It's the way we interact with the people, and we interact with any situation. We try to not get overwhelmed with with pressure, with because everybody has pressure, but it's the way that uh, you know you handle the situation is the difference. So for me, Pura Vida is part of um, taking it easy, understanding that you have control of certain things, but you don't have control of other things. So you just have to relax, sit down, think about, the way to do it, and try to do it the best you can, but to not let things overwhelm you, to just stress you out so you cannot enjoy anything. At the end of the day is making the things that you have to do the correct way, but in a relaxed, in a nice, in in a nice manner. I think that would be, because I can interact with a tourist in a very harsh way, and that's not part of what Pura Vida means. I mean, Pura Vida means I want to make somebody feel good about, interacting with me, about the country, about um, the way they see the country. So I think it's an interesting question, because nobody had ever made that question to me, and it's very interesting. But at the end of the day, I think it's the way we think, the way we do things and interact with people.
You know, every successful business seems to have some secret sauce. You know, whether that's a process or system or it's their culture. Over and over, when you ask people what makes Costa Rica special, the resounding answer is the people. And there's something in that operating system of the people that is Pura Vida that makes the destination incredible. And I'm not sure if you knew, but I logged 7 years in Panama, and my wife is
Oh,
Panamanian. Yeah, and I had a hotel there, and you couldn't be more on the money there. That um, I love Panama, but the country got a lot of things backwards, a little cart before the horse in terms of how to develop tourism. But
absolutely.
it all starts with the ethos, and the ethos here really is Pura Vida, and it's real.
Yeah, it's authentic. That's what's most important, and that's something that we always say, that we don't have to teach our people to be nice. They're naturally nice.
Yeah.
So that makes a huge difference. In other countries, they have to teach them. They have to take them to that, to be that way, because it's not in their nature. In Costa Rica, it's part of our
Yeah.
nature. So that makes it so much easier. And I do believe that makes a whole difference.
I've always been fascinated by how different even Central America is, much less when you get into South America and the larger part of the Andean region. But I'd love to sit with a sociologist and a historian to really understand. But my general understanding is, because Costa Rica had no gold, uh, the
We're so
Spanish, yeah, the Spanish here didn't really come here and rape, pillage, and plunder. So a lot of the rest of Latin America, the underclass, the common class is very suspicious, is very wary, not necessarily friendly. This is one big finca. This is
yeah,
one giant farm, and everyone's collaborated and cooperated for a long time.
yeah, because we had nothing, so we wouldn't fight for it, because we didn't have money. We were really, really, really poor. So we're not malicious. We don't think bad about the people. We just collaborate.
And so it's funny how very often the lack of something in the end becomes an advantage.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Couldn't be better.
Listen, always fun talking to you. Thank you so much. Anybody that's thinking about renting a car in Costa Rica, Adobe is the one.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we're really trying hard, to pass this batch. But I think that a positive attitude makes a whole difference. And at the end of the day, it's all about, giving a good service and a good product and a good price.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate your time.
No, I appreciate. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Let's talk tourism.